I saw this union graduate lathe advertised in the local sale room catalogue the other day, so I went down and had a look at it. It was, of course, complete with its outboard turning table and its bed and tool rests and faceplates and goodness knows what else. But I stripped it down for transport, and here it is. Anyway, the photograph of the plate indicated that it was a three-phase lathe, which it is, which will put some buyers off. And when I went down to view it, I saw this contraption sitting behind it, and I thought it was a static phase converter, but I didn't have a close examination of it because I didn't want to draw attention to it, which is one of the things that us auction goers avoid doing when there's something that we like. Anyway, when I got it home and opened it up, it turned out that it's a VFD drive instead. And it isn't a cheap Chinese one, it's an expensive one, a Japanese thing. So that was definitely a bonus. Anyway, when I turned it on, the light comes on the lathe and the thing powers up. And then I tried the original switch, the original starter on this thing, and it didn't start, so I assumed the VFD was faulty, natural assumption. But the starter button didn't feel quite as positive as it should, so I tested it with my multimeter, and sure, it was making no contact. So I temporarily wired in these chaps here, and hey, so another bonus, it works. Now the third bonus was when I opened this cupboard up, it had in it this very expensive chuck, 250 quid chuck. And I only paid 160 quid for the whole contraption, so I'm the lucky lad. Now, there was a box of bits and pieces behind the lathe, and this may well have been supplied to the sale room in that box, but scallywags at sale rooms seem to try to rearrange the lots a bit so that other people don't view the whole item, so some potential buyer may well have hidden that chuck in there. Who knows or cares? Anyway, it seems that the person who wired this thing up knew exactly what they were doing, so I'm going to trace the wiring and do a wiring diagram of it, just so that we all know what's going on, especially seeing as I have another three-phase lathe, a Viceroy over there, which I was going to convert to single phase, but now I think I will put a VFD on it and make it a variable speed like this one. This is the switch from a Union Graduate lathe, and the green button wasn't working. I have stripped it down, so I thought it might be helpful if somebody else could see how these things can be mended. The ceramic part of the switch is held onto the outer cast casing with two slotted 3BA screws, but first you have to remove the buttons. And on this one, the stop button, the red button, is held down with an E-clip, which you have to pick off, taking away the contacting washer. Under there is a spring which is stuck inside the machine there. And the green button, I imagine, should have been held down the same way, but it was actually peened over. So I imagine what has happened is somebody has reassembled the thing, having lost the spring. They've replaced it with the wrong spring. The spring's too long. Put the thing back together, put the contacting washer on, and then it had a teeny wee washer on it, and then peened it over to hold it on. Well, I ground the peening off, the rivet off, so that I could get it. So now I know that I have to recreate this end on that end. So to give myself enough length of the brass to do that, I'm going to put it in the lathe and take some off the green on both shoulders, and then turn a similar shape to what's on the stop button. So there we are, that has worked out quite well. Just need to find a spring more like that than that, or even shorten this one. Then reassemble it. If you're doing this, you might as well take those two screws out and manage to get any sawdust that's got in there over the years out and clean the thing up. Well, as it turned out, it needed an even shorter spring than I thought. Anyway, I'll put the start side back together. Let's see if it works. It does. Excellent. Well, it's a bit gloomy in here because I've been in the process of changing the fluorescent lights for LEDs, and they're not working yet. But I've put the switch back on the lathe. So let's see what happens when we press the button. Hey! Got it going again. And it stops quite sharply too. It must have a bit of braking programmed into it. So what do we have in here? Well, we have an isolator on the front of the door. We have a remote pot for altering the speed of the thing, the frequency of the electricity. There's some DIN rail connectors down there, which would be better if they'd been fastened together with jumpers rather than these little wire loops. And they would probably have been better still if there had been double pole mini circuit breaker. And then we have here a relay, and the relay is important because it gives you your no volt protection. So if somebody turns the thing off at the mains, or you get a power cut, when it comes back on you don't get a nasty surprise when you got your fingers in the V-belt. So that is a really good and useful addition. In the drawing that I give you the part numbers of these, but any relay would do. And then he's brought two wires down and taken them straight up to the lighting. This was originally a transformer for low volt lighting, but he's bypassed it and stuck a 240 volt bulb in there, which is absolutely fine. So there we are. I've taken the front off the thing. The transformer's still there, but it's been completely bypassed, and the wires just go straight up to the bulb. So I'm just having a think now, and if I take that transformer out of there, it will give a really handy space for me to put that potentiometer, because you don't want to have to go to the switchboard to change the speed of the machine. You could just do it from there. In the transformer case, I've found the original wiring instructions, and it seems that this one can be wired straight into 240 volts and still used as a low volt lighting system. However, I don't think I'm going to bother because I haven't got any 24 volt bulbs or 12 volt bulbs or whatever they are. I'm going to be moving this potentiometer onto the front of that casing. just up there. And when I've taken the pot out, I'm going to put in a neon indicator so that we know when the VFD is turned on, because you could leave that thing on for weeks and just forget all about it. But there we are. Well, I've got a little bit of better light in here now. I've just been playing with this lump of burr elm, which I've had lying around for years. Coming up next is the wiring diagram. In it shows a couple of normally closed micro switches. One is there, and the other is in this side access door. Accesses you need for changing the belt. So if your on button isn't working, check those covers are both closed properly first. Of course, on the wiring diagram, NC means normally closed and NO means normally open. And regarding the relay here, not all VFDs have built-in no-volt protection. Some do, some don't. So that is a clever little addition. So now I'm in business. This is my lathe assembled, and I'm really pleased with it. Of course I am. One of the reasons I've always wanted one of these Union Graduates, because about 25 years ago I bought the contents of a pine furniture factory. Quite a lot of machinery, paid quite a lot of money for it, and there was a Union Graduate lathe. Now the guy I was dealing with was acting as a middleman between the widow of the owner of the factory and me, and he wouldn't introduce me or let me talk to her because she's too sad and all this nonsense. But actually, of course, he was making a wind out of it himself and pinching from both me and the widow. Anyway, when I said I was really glad to get the Union Graduate lathe, he said, "Oh, no, my son's having that. I've bought that from Mrs. whatever her name was." And we both knew that he was stealing it from me and that I'd bought it. Anyway, when I moved the boxes of junk out, I found a large ammunition box which had all the faceplates and chucks and brand new tool rests, goodness knows what, all parts of the Union Graduate. So of course I never told him. Anyway, what goes round comes round. I saw him 2 or 3 months later and he had a foot missing. And it turned out that when he tried to move the lathe, he'd pulled it over and chopped his foot off. So it serves him right. Anyway, now I've got a lathe 25 years later with all the bits and pieces.